We Love You Bunny is the brand new sequel to Mona Awad's viral sensation of a novel, Bunny, and to my utter astonishment, I think I like this book more than the first one. But first things first, thank you to Simon and Schuster for my proof copy. I was very nervous going into this because I never quite knew where I landed with the first book. This one, empirically loved. So much to talk about, such a great time, and it really surprised me more than anything else I've read this year so far. I went into this and I think I was apprehensive because I expected it to be a direct sequel. Not the case. This is very similar to when Stephanie Meyer wrote Midnight Sun, and that's like a book that reimagines the Twilight Saga from the POV of Edward. This is Bunny, but reimagined from the POV of the bunnies. So I suppose the primary antagonist of the original novel. Your thoughts and feelings about this decision largely depend on how you felt about Bunny and whether or not you liked how Bunny was written. Because for me, I found Bunny quite jarring in its reluctance to tell you what was going on. You know, like, I appreciate a slow burn being cloak and dagger with reveals and stuff, but Bunny did that to a fault. And Samantha, as a main character, because she's like the normal girl on campus who gets swept up in this world of bunnies and poetry and writing, she is very naive, very dull. She's not an interesting character to follow. So this book, where everything's flipped on its head, we're with the girls who have so much more to hold on to, are so much more visually arresting as main characters. Loved it. The story is essentially written as like an expose. So the four bunnies have found Samantha, abducted her, tied her up. They're threatening her with an axe because she has written a book about her experiences at Warren, at the campus with these girls, and they don't come off in a good light, so they're like vengeful and they want her to help them with their like literary passions, getting them noticed. What made me appreciate this one so much more, I think, is the ability that Mona Awad had to step into the backstories of each of these four girls so that we could appreciate their vulnerabilities, where they come from, why they were so terrible in Bunny. Like, it all started to make sense. And so I can see how some people would resent the unraveling of that mystique. It's sort of like looking behind the curtain and spoiling the fun. But for me, that's what made it make sense. So I liked it more. We also spend a lot of time in this book with Arius. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. He is the first bunny that they turn into a man. So if you've read the first book, you'll be familiar with their experimentation creatively, where they're trying to make like the perfect boyfriend slash lover, and they keep finding these bunnies on campus and they make them explode and they turn into their men. It's wacky. It's, strangely enough, it's one of the more coherent plot lines in Bunny. That really speaks volumes about how nutty the book is. But in this one, you actually get to see one of the actual bunny rabbits' POVs, and you get to see the sort of existential crisis of someone who was formerly a rabbit and is now a human, and it's hilarious. I can't stress how funny Arius's chapters were. They were easily the best part of the whole book. Just the way that he was like so innocent, he was eating dandelions. Throughout the text, he uses like emoticons. So if he's feeling happy, there'll be a little happy face. And if he's feeling like sad or distressed, there's a little frowny face, which was adorable. And the bunnies have styled him physically to resemble like a movie star. So everyone like either wants to sleep with him or is quite taken by him, and he doesn't understand why. And then, of course, one of their teachers, Alan, who keeps criticizing their work, so they hate him. They've given Arius this sort of kill order to find and kill their teacher. So every time he hears the word Alan or that someone's name is Alan, he goes full like Winter Soldier mode and wants to kill whoever it is. And so it leads to lots of quite funny misunderstandings where like one person is like, oh, I dressed up as Edgar Allan Poe for Halloween, and he's like, and then someone else is like, I'm such a brilliant poet, I'm this generation's Allen Ginsberg, and they're like, it's so funny. I was cracking up. I just love, as far as sequels go, more often than not, they're bad. They're a waste of time. You immediately think like, oh, do we need this to exist, or is it just a cash grab? This, there was a genuine sense of, okay, Mona Awad has seen the landscape since the last book came out. She's seen what went down well with her audience, what could be improved, and this capitalizes on that. It felt like the gloves were off, and instead of the first book, which took itself really seriously at some points and then was flippant the next, this book is reckless abandon. Nothing is serious. Everything is up the wall. And that's what I need from a story like this. And so it felt really liberating, to me at least. It almost reads like a quasi-modern Frankenstein, because Arius is so confounded by his own existence, and he doesn't remember that he used to be a bunny rabbit. So he has these bunny rabbit urges that he can't quite make sense of, because he doesn't know why he was created and like what he was made for. Like it's very sort of like Barbie movie as well, now I think about it. He's trying to figure out what his purpose is, but he's also on the run from everyone who actually wants to use him for something, because he just wants to be like free. And he has this really sweet relationship as well with Jonah, the guy that Samantha, he was into Samantha in the first book, but she wasn't really into him. She was into her professor, which, yikes. So that was really fascinating. It was sort of like a Midsummer Night's Dream, everyone fancies somebody else situation. I'm trying to speculate with the possibilities of reading this without reading the first book, because obviously not everyone has read Bunny, and I love this one so much more than the first one. I'm trying to think if that is a feasible possibility. I think you could get away with it, because it's all the same characters in the same turn of events, but they more or less go over what happens in the first book. Like, I do think you probably could just jump to this one. And I think it's so much more of a serve. Like, I was living, and I could not anticipate it, because I was someone who was so on the fence about the first book and was like, oh, I don't know if Mona Awad is really the author for me. I'm sold. If her other books are on this level, give me them. Give me them now. So would I recommend We Love You, Bunny? Absolutely. It doesn't get bogged down with all of the themes that are in the first one, like, oh, what does the craft mean to you? What is the purpose of being a writer? No, this book is far more passionate than that. It like dances to the beat of its own drum. It's so irreverent, silly, fun, weird. Yes, this is what I love.